I can't wait. We're going to talk about epigenetics and we're going to talk about your DNA and how that shows up for you. And yeah, I'll ask you some questions. I was thinking about some things that I wanted to know from you, but we'll just do it as we go. Okay? I really appreciate everybody that's on live and even those that that watch the replay. For many people, there's a 12-hour difference, there's a 6-hour difference, even sometimes a 3-hour difference can be inhibited. And so I really give gratitude for you. In fact, if I had gone live on Wednesday, one of the things that I wanted to tell you is how grateful I am. I don't take your time lightly. I find true value in you and know that it is a gift that I get to know you. And so I really wanted to say thank you. And the other thing that I wanted to do was tell you about epigenetics. I wrote a new program about healing your own epigenetics, and I was going to give you early access. Well, that didn't happen, right? And so I want to talk about it and give you an opportunity longer than other people will have. Yeah. So epigenetics is how our DNA expresses itself. Now, I figured out epigenetics before I knew about the word epigenetics, and I did it through my work. And now there's science to back it up. And I'm not saying that there wasn't science then. It just wasn't common knowledge. And so I didn't know about it. I just learned through my work with clients is that when I released something that was inherited, it released from everyone in the bloodline. And why would I know that? Because oftentimes ancestors would come to tell me thank you during a session. And so I knew that it was one of the ways that confirmed my awareness that we need to and we want to do as much as we can to unclutter our soul, because we take it with us. Now, we leave our physical body when we pass on, but we take our junk with us. And so when you clear inherited patterns, it releases from everyone on both sides, ancestors, and they're so grateful, right? It speeds their process up. So I became aware of it then, and how things were inherited patterns were showing up in bloodlines, not just my client. All right. So now let's fast forward to today's type, right? And so I'll just give you a little bit of a breakdown. We all have our own DNA code. That makes us 6 feet tall or 5'5", right? I mean, we can't change that. It could make us any height. We cannot change the helix. That is immovable, unchangeable. As much as we want green eyes, it's not possible unless we wear contacts, okay? We can't change any characteristic of our physical body with this work. But how epigenetics shows up is it is an inherited pattern. They are inherited phenotype cells that get passed down in the lineage. And what that means is that epigenetics is the expression of your DNA. So an example, and if you've been to my website, I have a video up there about epigenetics right in the very first page, and the inherited pattern of arachnophobia, which are spiders. It's interesting. But we can inherit anything, everybody, really, just about anything that has to do with the expression of how we experience life, right? So we could have, maybe if you've been following me for a while, you can have an inherited fear as a child of needles. You can have inherited fears of just about anything. Now, you're not consciously, okay, always aware of it. It's going to show up about how you engage in life. Are you riddled with anxiety? 9 times out of 10, that starts with an inherited pattern, and somewhere in your lineage you have an ancestor who suffered from anxiety. You might even be aware of a mother or father Now, as they get older, it usually gets better, but that you inherited anxiety from. You have the same pattern. That can be, by the way, that can be changed. That's the difference. Within the epigenetics, it is always changeable at any time in your life. Okay? Another inherited pattern might be, you might have our belief system, and it gets confirmed through discussions at the table sometimes, but we can have a subconscious belief, limiting belief, false belief that really doesn't belong to us, but it's expressed in how we show up around money. A lot of things around money are inherited. Okay. I believe I've shared this with you before, but it's a great story. Okay. Where a client of mine, now she had her own business, but she was a single parent of two, and she was ready to close business. And part of the problem was she came to me for is because her employees were never happy with her. They were frustrated. The drama was awful. And it was because she wouldn't listen to their suggestions and make decisions. She couldn't make a decision. You cannot be the CEO of your company or an entrepreneur if you can't make a decision. It doesn't work. It's very limiting to how we show up, right? And it will trigger anxiety and nervousness and the pattern of worrying. Everything snowballs, okay? What it was is she had a grandfather in the Great Depression, and he was wealthy. He had his own manufacturing company. The thing is that he was also a gambler. And he gambled the whole manufacturing plant away, and the family lost their fortune. So when that sense of going to lose it all, right? Like there was that fear every time she made a decision that she was going to lose it all. Yeah. And so when we cleared that, and we cleared the indecisiveness, and we cleared the pattern of second guessing, all inherited because of this, all right, the fear of failure, losing everything, oh my gosh, she doubled her income. She literally grew her business, right? But I'll tell you what, she came back recently because her children had gotten older, and one of them was getting into drugs. Well, there's different reasons that can happen, okay? But why the core root of it was back to the grandfather, and it's not because he had an addiction, at least that's not, it came up as addiction, but this was showing up, his addiction was gambling. This was an addiction to a substance, so that the child was having. So it's a great example of how we can inherit things in the family bloodline. It does not mean it will express itself the exact same way. That's why a parent who does have children, right? If they have 3 kids, 2 kids, it doesn't necessarily mean that they will all inherit the same thing. Let's say they did, hypothetically. It does not mean that they will show up the same way, that they will experience it the exact same way across the board. Now, sometimes it does. The point is that epigenetics is an expression of the inherited experiences, the life experiences of your ancestors. Nobody's at fault here. This is not bad karma. Like, I really want you to hear me on that. Inherited emotional DNA is not bad karma. It's not because you didn't do anything wrong, and it's not because of a past life. Not this, okay? That's something else, all right? This is just because we're humans, and we agreed to come to Earth, okay? We wanted a physical body. With it comes the pros and cons. The beautiful thing that I call the tender mercy of the universe is that we can change it. We don't have to own it. We don't. We inherit beautiful things. I am not finding fault. And I'm really quick to point out to people when they want to say, when they want to be the victim and blame somebody. This is not what we're doing. This is something I really want to help empower you with. So the good things that we inherit are our gifts and our talents. We inherit all of, the good qualities, our friendliness. My mother was super friendly. I learned through her example, as well as the inherited, because my grandmother was too, of being warm and friendly to people. It didn't just, it's because I inherited it. It made it easier for me. Even though I was an introvert and an empath, I still knew how to do it. The science behind this is like, it's documented, guys. It's all over the place. You can just, Google epigenetics. There's studies that I've shared with you from Emory University. You can Google it and check it out. Like, I'm not talking about something that isn't documented. For me, it was a new experience because I had never been educated on it. So I learned it through my work. And now I can talk about it. And because my husband has a science brain, I really had to learn how to express what I was experiencing so he would understand. So you see, even though we go through uncomfortability at times in our life, there's always a positive for it. And it was that way for me. Then I want to ask you a question. Are you aware of an inherited pattern? Just put down there. Are you aware? Now I'm going to talk about, because all my work is about releasing what doesn't serve us. I'm sure if you inherited music, you can play the piano and you're aware of it. All right. Or you have a gift like that. I would love to honor the ancestors there, but not tonight. I want to know if you are aware, if you inherited a negative pattern in your life. Okay? Are you aware of things that trip you up? An inherited pattern can be procrastination. Yeah. There's a myriad of things that inherited patterns should show up. It can be addiction, a lot of addiction. I spoke to that a bit. If you're comfortable, what are you aware of that you inherited? Let me know below. You are aware. Okay, who's comfortable telling me what they're aware of? Now, I want it to be something that holds you up. I want to know what you're tripped up in, what you make 2 steps forward in and 3 steps back in, what keeps you feeling stuck, okay? Money issues. Amanda, I kid you not, it's such a biggie, right? Our money issues is about whether we feel worthy to, if we feel people are going to be critical. So if there's an inherited pattern of people pleasing, oh my gosh, it's almost like the kiss of death, because you can't even charge, let alone, because you're always giving away, right? It's only when it's out of balance. It's actually a gift. Food, I saw, Laura, you had talked about food. We can have an inherited addiction to food, or an inherited pattern of comforting ourselves with food. We have addiction to sugar, right? We can inherit victim mentality. What else? Procrastination. I'll tell you what, Hazel, I released my pattern. I was plagued with procrastination, plagued with it. And there's a lot of reasons why we procrastinate, by the way. You can release procrastination, sweetie. You can absolutely transform your life getting rid of procrastination. Yeah. I totally understand procrastination, Hazel. Totally get it. Okay, fear of failure, Laura. Because if I fail at something, I'll be embarrassed. And the other thing is, you're right, you don't have to face humiliation. The root cause of the fear of failure for that you're talking about is shame. Because we don't want to be embarrassed. We don't want to be shamed. And if we don't try, then we can't fail. And so you actually don't really fail because you never tried. Follow me? It gets kind of complicated, but it's fascinating to figure it out. It's fascinating. You don't finish something, and you'll start and not finish. And oftentimes, Hazel, that's so common because What happens is there's a couple of reasons. We get scattered, okay? And so we're always starting things because we get these great ideas, okay? More than likely, and I'm almost positive, you're very creative, okay? The other reason we will not finish projects or what we start, even taking a class or something like that, is because we don't feel, it's kind of like we're being selfish. And so if we spend too much time with our own needs or taking care of ourselves like that, then we get uncomfortable and we move on. You can figure that out and you can clear it. But we inherit our good and our bad. But right now we are talking about, because there's no fault to this, as to what we inherited, there's no fault and it's not bad karma. It's about, what do we know that's tripping us up? This is how I make my living. Is releasing inherited patterns that hold us from living our life purpose, that hold us back from being all that we are on a soul level. Our soul is powerful, but it's really hard to feel empowered on a consistent basis if we're constantly in battle with things that we get hung up on. That's what I love eradicating. And I can't wait. I mean, I really want to teach you this, and that's why I created this program. But I don't want to get into that because I want to talk to you about more fear of judgment. Yeah. I understand fear of judgment. I do. It's powerful. It's really powerful. We don't want people to be critical of us. We don't want to feel misunderstood. So we might do something, and then what if they don't understand us and they ask us, they point something out. Fear of judgment is a big deal. And actually that's a good one to segue into how the fear of judgment, it is inherited a lot of times, okay? And then what happens is, our subconscious knows everything, okay? Everything. And so in the program, I teach you how to access your subconscious through muscle testing. So you might be, what's the big deal about that? A lot. Because oftentimes we create these stories that we've created for ourselves about why we are the way we are, or why we can't do something, and we're very critical and judgmental of ourselves. And muscle testing accesses your brain, right? And gets you out of what you think you know, and will give you an answer that's going to be spot on for you, whether you believe it or not. And so I teach you how to do that, and I give you exercises to practice with. Okay, because this is how it's going to help you get to the root cause of some of the things that you're experiencing that you don't want to anymore. Yeah. The other thing, if we inherited things, that's the first thing. We're just born with this, right? Some of them will manifest in your lifetime within your epigenetics, and some of them will not. It's kind of like what triggers it. Okay. One thing is that I will teach you about is your energy blueprint. Why you have it, why it's important, and where it's not serving you, and how you can change that on your own. Because within the energy blueprint lives lots of false stories and false beliefs. And it's really hard to go to that next level in your life or embrace change when you're down there, living in first grade. You're not aware of it physically. Now, there's inner child work. That's not what we're doing. We're actually doing something even a little bit deeper than that with that. In that, what is the experience, right, of life, which is another thing that I teach about in the course. I teach about how things get trapped in our lifetime. Okay? So, for example, can you think of something that happened in your life that you remember so vividly, right? I'm going to ask a question. Who has experienced trauma in their life that you are very aware causes you to be hesitant about doing something? You don't have to tell me the trauma if you don't want to. That gets right. But who has experienced, just say experienced trauma, yes. So trauma energy is an experience that gets trapped. I share that my mother forgot me in kindergarten. Okay. As an adult, I'm totally aware of that. Okay. Actually, I even had a client that happened to. So, boy, was I aware of what she was feeling. But it was the experience of abandonment that trapped. It's a vibrational energy. So, this is an example of a life experience where abandonment trapped. Now, I forgot all about it for a long time. But what was happening is I was attracting men that abandoned me. It had nothing to do with why the original energy trapped, right? But it showed up in my life as the people I loved would abandon me. This is going to help you in your relationships, the relationship with yourself, the relationship with others. It helps clear when you identify these types of traumas, it helps clear your family drama with your sisters, brothers, parents, as well as within the home. If you do have children, I'm very aware that many don't. It has nothing to, this is powerful. This is for the individual. Okay. I wrote this for the individual. Rejection. You've had trauma of rejection. Yeah. It's kind of like abandonment, right, Laura? And Amanda's had trauma. Trauma is intense, right? And you're right, Raylene, it shows up in different ways. We can have the trauma of a divorce, the trauma of being fired, the trauma of being bullied, right? The trauma of making a mistake and feeling like you've ruined your life. The trauma of going bankrupt for people. Trauma is a big deal. Trauma, some people are so anxiety ridden, right, that driving on the freeway is trauma. It can be little and it can be big. There's no judgment to it. None. But trauma can be released. And it really is life-changing when you get rid of the trauma. Because then you feel more confident, right? And you're able to take action in your life where you haven't been to, or it opens up to opportunities that you had been previously not seen as opportunities, or you felt blocked from opportunities. Yeah. So in the program, it's called Healing Your Own Epigenetics. I cover inherited. I teach that about it. I teach about your energy blueprint. I teach about life experiences. Okay. So, the life experiences shows up in this. Not only trauma, but it can just be a life experience of going to ask for a raise and being told no. It can be asking somebody for help for something and they kind of, they don't show up for you. Can cause you to feel that you are unworthy, and the vibration of unworthy will trap. Now think about this snowball effect. If you inherited unworthiness and unworthiness traps in your lifetime, do you see how this unworthiness starts to really validate itself? Right? It's just snowballs. And so you just release them one at a time. And you always trust your subconscious to give you the answer that you need. Okay? You're going to learn about different patterns, how they show up in your DNA. I'm going to teach you how to release that DNA, the epigenetics. I'm going to teach you aspects of your energy blueprint that don't serve you anymore. Okay? And I'm going to help teach you how to clear trauma from the cells of your body. For me, well, look what I do, right? It's empowering for me. It's empowering for me to change my own procrastination, right? It was empowering for me to clear fear of making a mistake, fear of getting it wrong, fear of taking action, fear of judgment. And is it of interest to you to learn how to empower yourself, take action for yourself? You don't have to depend on anybody. You're not a victim. You don't have to wait for somebody else. You don't have to be totally, have tons of money to hire me, right? It's affordable, okay? And so who would be interested in learning how to clear blocks so you can step into your life purpose? Because for me, my blocks blocked my life purpose. I couldn't tell you enough that I've never been happier in my life. I've never had things flow to me easier than I do now. And it's a combination of stuff, right? It's because I'm living my life purpose. It took me a hot minute to get here. Okay. And I'm able to really discern very easily what works and what doesn't work. And when I feel stuck, I implement the same stuff that I'm going to be teaching you. Okay? Ask me if there's something you would be curious if you could release. And I'll tell you if you could or you couldn't. You want to release all your blocks, right, Amanda? I know, girl. I know. That makes me happy. Okay. So, many of you are not on my email list, and many of you are just right here. And that's why I wanted to break it down, because there's nothing worse, I think. There's really nothing worse than feeling like your life doesn't measure up to what you thought it would be, but want it to be, right? There's nothing worse than feeling like you have a big mission in life and you don't know how to do it. You don't know how to do it because you're clouded, right? And there's nothing worse than second guessing every decision or yourself, or making a decision and then really feeling guilty about it, or doubting yourself, or just really the bottom line is, if you feel that there's more for you in life, I want to give you the tools to do it. And those often these things show up as inherited patterns as the root cause. And then, I teach you I teach you how to identify it, how to clear it. I even teach you how to replace it. So you're not left this open vessel. Okay. It's all within a program and it's not this huge long old program. Okay, guys, it's like 4 hours of content, and it gives you a downloadable PDF, a fillable PDF, as well as stuff you can print so you can use it just when you're working on yourself by yourself. You don't have to get in there all the time. All right. It gives you the opportunity to literally, within your epigenetics, to know exactly what you need to release, any negative DNA passed down through your lineage, how to activate those good qualities, okay, that you might not even be aware of yet, how to activate what you are aware of and really access those positive qualities that you get from your lineage. I actually had a client say to me, I got nothing good. She cut her parents out of her life, and I get it. Until she, really started doing the work. And she was like, now I get it. Okay. It'll be the same for you too. Because the most important thing is I want you to hear is that you get to take control of this yourself, your own healing journey, and you get to step into life purpose. Everything that you release is gone. It does not come back. Now, it doesn't mean that there isn't more abandonment. It doesn't mean that you didn't trap abandonment 10 times in your life, okay? And it doesn't mean one inherited emotion doesn't mean that there is no others in that same category. But I promise you, when it's released, it is gone. Whatever, as you learn in the program, I am used to talking first term, but whatever you release, that emotion from that time will be gone. Okay. Now, because I want you to stop, I want to be part of you, part of this journey. Okay. And really it's because you're part of my group. What I've done is I've given you something special. Okay. Like, I really appreciate, this is part of the gratitude that you show up for me, live, that you're in my group, that you contribute, that even that you reply to me in emails or on Facebook, in the group or whatever. Like, I value that. And I love teaching people like you, because when somebody is embracing their change, I will go all out. So this is what I've done is I've thrown in some bonuses. Well, I'm just going to tell you my favorite bonus. Okay. I'm just going to do it like that, because I'm not going to offer it in the future. Is that you get to be live with me for 2 months, and you get to ask me questions. I'm not doing it in the Facebook group. You'll be with me live on Zoom, and you will have done the program, and then you are going to have questions. I guarantee it. And I want to help you. I want to answer the questions. I can re-educate you on things. I can do a live demo on things. All right. And I think it will really help you access this tool even in a more powerful way. And that's my big bonus. Okay. Then I have within this program 3 healing activations. And these are all healing activations to activate your inner healer. Because oftentimes we don't believe we can do it. We don't believe we can learn how to muscle test. We don't believe we can get out of our head. We don't believe we really have that within us. I'm powerful at my work, but it's really the client's body that is doing the work. So why wouldn't I want to teach you how to do it yourself? It's not mystical, everybody. There's really nothing woo-woo about it, okay? It's really a method that empowers you to take action. So there's 3 heal your inner, activate your inner healer audios, but one is one of my favorites. It's belief in miracles. You see, when life has been a struggle or complicated or hit with roadblocks, then we don't believe that things can change, or we don't believe that we're worthy of it. It can be good for everybody else, but not for us. Belief in miracles is really powerful, okay? And it will give you that miracle of life purpose that you've been waiting for. It's going to help you with that. Now, you get to own these, by the way. The whole program you're going to own, okay, including these bonuses. The other thing is clearing skepticism. Skepticism that you can do it. Skepticism in your own life purpose. Skepticism, you know what I mean, okay? If you have a belief that bad things happen, you're going to love this one to you, right? If you have a belief you can't do something, if you have a belief that you're too old and you can't eradicate these things, see, you need it. Clearing skepticism. And the last one of the 3 that's going to activate your inner healer is longer lasting happiness. Longer lasting happiness. And I'll tell you why I worded it that way. We'll have a little bit of happiness and then it doesn't last. So it's like we make a little bit forward and then for some reason, now we can self-sabotage that, by the way. We believe we're not worthy of lasting happiness, or we believe, that we're not good enough for happiness, or whatever it is, right? I 100% disagree. And I believe you can be happy in all areas of your life. I like to call them quadrants. We have a relationship quadrant. We have a financial quadrant, right? We've got quadrants, but they're all aspects of our life. And we don't have to pick and choose. We really can have them all right? I have happiness in all areas of my life. I love what I do. I have great relationships. Now, have I always? No, I have not. But this works and it will help you. Keep in mind, what you're releasing is a vibrational energy. And this vibrational energy you send out unconsciously, which is the reason why certain people come into your life or conflicts happen. You attract the same type of people and you're not always aware of it until the pattern repeats, right? You can do that within family dynamics and any relationship. It's really empowering, okay? And then I am giving, I said 3, but I'm actually giving a 4th one, and is your self-worth attached to your bank account? It's one that I'm just kind of adding in there because money is such a complicated issue in people's lives. Doesn't have to be, okay? But it is oftentimes. And if we aren't making the amount of money, let's say you're working really hard in your career and you're still not making the kind of money that you need. Oftentimes, it's because of an unconscious belief. And the other thing that trips us up is when we measure our worth by how much money we are making, we never measure up. It's never enough. And we always feel like crap. It's a biggie. I'm going to say it again because it's not something most people are aware of. When we measure our success, our worth, by how much money we are making, it is never enough, and we never feel good enough, and we never feel like we're doing the same. And it will cause us as others to compare ourselves to other people. It causes you to look for everything you don't have in your life. That doesn't work. When we're always looking for what we're missing, right, then we can never be happy with where we had. So we need happiness to last longer. We need to get rid of the pattern of looking for what we've lost, right? And we need to own our self-worth, activate your confidence so that you feel good about yourself, really and truly, no matter where you are in life. And when this happens, miracles happen and new opportunities come in. You see things in a different way that you hadn't before. Because when we have these blinders on, okay, and we aren't able to see to the side of us, and we're only looking in hindsight. Hindsight, by the way, is never 2020. It's based on the view we have, that we think it's 2020. But you literally could have made a decision in the past that would not have turned out the way you think it would have turned out. So you know when you go hindsight, and you say, yeah, if I had made that a different way, it would have turned out the way I'm seeing it. Wrong. Very little. Really, it's not often that it happens that way. But see, we create these stories. Ask me below if you have any questions. Can it help release blocks? That's what it's all about, Chantal. That's what this is all about, is I teach you how to release the blocks that you don't know why they're there. Let's say you've tried all sorts of help self stuff. Let's say you've gone to therapy. Let's say you've done all sorts of stuff, and it doesn't change anything. This will help you. You get to take control of it. And I teach you how to access your subconscious. It's really important, okay? You might know why you do something, but your subconscious might have a completely different reason. So, great question. And yes, it's amazing at that. Chantal is asking, how far in our bloodline does this clear from? I teach you how to do that in here, and it will release from everybody that inherited it with the verbiage that I give you. Okay? I teach you how to find out how many it does. I teach you all of that. It's really empowering. Yeah. There we go. Lots of money ones. I get it. You can get rid of that trauma energy of being bullied in school. You want to release all your blocks? I work on them. I get it. I do it too. And see, we can go along, Amanda, and we can be like, I'm doing great. And then all of a sudden, we get tripped up in something. So see, it's a process, like peeling an onion or an artichoke is an example I'll use, where we release a layer. We release some things. People come to me, and let's say, actually, I'll give you the example. A client came to me right in the beginning of my career, and she was young, and she had a fear of driving on the freeway. Good thing, time for this to come up. And that, it actually cleared within 2 sessions. And she had bought a pack of 6 from me. And she said, Lisa, I'm just so excited. If I can drive on the freeway and I don't have to have people drive me around or me take the bus or me be at home because I can't move. She lived in California. What else is possible in my life? So you can start getting rid of things, and all of a sudden it'll open up a window of, well, what else can I do? Then let's say you get better at making decisions and you take some action for yourself. Then if you're in something might come up where you actually want to be your own. We're in a time in our life where we need to figure out let go of old paradigms and allow a new structure in. So if you're stuck that business has to look away a certain way or relationships have to look away, it's a great time to clear before 2021. Begin this process, right? Because COVID isn't going away. It's not going away. We could be in it another year for all we know, where we have, boundaries and rules. It's just Lisa's gut feeling. It doesn't mean I'm right. Okay. But the point is what I am right about is we need to take control of our life. And that's what I want for you, is to feel like you can take control of your life. You just say you want to raise your price on something, or you want to ask somebody, your boss, for a raise, or you want to just ask for something. And you've been really confident up until this moment, and all of a sudden, it's just as if you can't do it. That's the time you will do the releasing process on yourself, okay? Because even I do. I go along great now at this point in my life, but at some times when I'm doing new things, I move through uncomfortability all the time. Just because I've done so much clearing on myself doesn't mean I don't ever have to do it again. I do. But I can embrace change a lot better than I ever have in my life. I can move through that uncomfortability because I have a tool to clear it. I have a tool to clear the fear of whatever I'm experiencing. And I want that for you. Laura, when you release blocks, how long before you notice the difference that the block is no longer there? That's a great question. And what you'll do is, I'm not going to ask you to look for what's gone. That's like a trap. All you're going to begin doing is looking for what goes easier for you. And this is what I tell my clients. So the first session when they work with me, it's a little bit different than those after that. I always have them tell me 2 things that they noticed went differently. I don't say what changed. I don't say, I don't ask what's gone or if they noticed it gone. What shifted? Did you feel lighter? Did you feel less complication with something? Okay? Because what happens with the subconscious is it's natural for us to look for what's lost. It's a natural tendency. We lose our keys, we go to look for it, right? And our brain is used to finding those things in our mind. But what you're going to do is train yourself to look and feel where you're lighter, or if you're able to do something with a little less struggle or a little less complication. That's how you begin retraining your brain. And what it does is it allows more good things to happen for you. But if you go thinking it's going to be gone, the brain goes into, it fears change. So I hope that helps you. You're just going to look for what went easier. So maybe you need to make a decision that you've been procrastinating on. Maybe you can look at that decision and go, I'm going to try this. Well, then it helped. It doesn't mean that decisions will always be easy. What I should say is that you don't ever have to release around it again. You will, because there's never one thing. Not ever. I've never found one thing just to eradicate everything. Because remember, we inherit it. We then create things in our blueprint, and our subconscious tramps experiences like trauma or abandonment because it's validating who we are. So you have to be patient with yourself. You will begin to feel things immediately, I think. Okay, once you get the hang of it, okay, you'll be able to notice that things aren't quite so complicated. Okay? And I teach you how to do it. I teach you how to go through all that. So in the one thing that I forgot to mention is I go through and I do healings in each one of the modules. Okay, in addition, what I called out or what I shared with you was really just my additional content that I'm giving you to help you move through life. Okay? But in the program, I give you clearings. They're in there directly in the module, and they're at the end of it. So you can always come back in. If you really liked one of the clearings, you can just come back in there and listen to that without having to watch the module. I try and make things, and Christina helped me in some of that organizing and making it so that it's easy for you. Yeah, thank you for Christina for bringing that in. Yeah, and I think it's important that you have the tools to make life easier for you. So I don't want to create something that's complicated, right? Okay. How are we doing, everybody? Is it getting your mind thinking? Are you starting to turn the wheels, right? And tell me how it shows up for you, how this lands for you. I want to work with you live. So I want you to grab it. Now, the team was going to extend it one day because I couldn't go live. And last week, I asked them to extend it 2 days. I'll tell you why. Many of you watch the replay. And I don't want to limit you or hold you back because you're watching the replay, because of time zone, work, whatever the reason is. I want it available to everybody in my tribe. So 2 months of life coaching with me. You can ask me anything, Laura, right? Hazel, you can ask me anything, okay? I will teach you how to effectively release it if you have questions around it. It's like the very best offer. When I created it, I was like, they're going to need me. And what can I do? And that's why I did that, is I really want to spend time with you, empower you, and give you, fine-tune anything you might have a question for. When I post this video, I'll put it in I'll put the link in there. It looks like Christina put it in there. And I'll put it in the main link up above too. So you have it. And if you have questions, I can respond to them in the group. So you don't have to, because I know some of you are really processing it. You're thinking about it. All right. And you'll have a question or two. I'm not going to be teaching the method in the Facebook group. This is really valuable information for you. And I'm really excited to share it with you, that you can have it with you forever. Okay. You own this. And I want you to have a tool that can help change. It will change your life if you take action in it. And who knows, you might want to become a healer at some point, right? This is really for you. Okay, this is for your own individual person. All right, I'm sending you off with tons and tons of love. Very grateful you're here. Love that you're part of my life. And ask me questions below and I will answer them in the group.